Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome at today's episode. It took me quite a while to bring today's guest to this conversation. We've been having stoic conversations for the past years right now, but we decided to record this one. Ruben, welcome, and thank you for accepting my invitation.
I'm so glad to be here today with you, Darius, and I'm so glad that we can talk again and meet again.
Yeah, and actually, we're trying to send a message full of hope today, right? Even if we're talking about an industry that is quite niche, especially if we're considering our country. If we're talking about a red ocean competition out there with different funds and different muscle. And we're also talking about a complete 360-degree cycle for a leader. And that means, business, family, back to community and events, cascading knowledge, right? Because that's part of your mission and your vision over there. So I'm kindly inviting you to present your own bio, and where you're going to be too modest, I'm going to step in.
Well, I'm an entrepreneur. Together with my wife, Juana, we live in Cluj-Napoca, Romania. And in the past years, we developed more businesses in more industries, from construction, agriculture, hair production, cosmetics. Those are our focuses right now, and we are so happy that we have the privilege to work together as a family in doing business in an emerging country like Romania, where there are so many opportunities here in Eastern Europe. And our passion is to see a transformation through business. And it's a good moment for the economy in Romania. We have an emerging economy with a lot of opportunities. So it's a good moment for business right now.
Yeah, and I think you've been on this path for quite a few years. And I would like to go a bit in the intro of your, let's say, biggest company in the portfolio out there, which is Utilben, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is a full solutions, right? Of a provider of selling heavy duty construction equipment and machinery, and it's also covering the after sales part of things, which is quite a nice add-on over there as opposed to what competitors are offering. I want to talk about this company because it has started from nothing, right? And it has started with you wearing multiple hats, including that of a boss and husband at the same time. And I want to talk about the transformation journey and what have you learned so far? Let's talk about the top 5 lessons learned from this, over a decade transformation journey.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was dreaming about business since I was little, so I wanted to do business, but I did not know the industry. So I come from a family of farmers, and I had the opportunity to be involved in the production of cereals, to see how you make some crops, how you plant, how you water, how you wait for the goods to take to the market. So I had this opportunity to learn sales from my grandma, selling vegetables in the market. And there I learned that it's a nice thing to do, to sell things, to create products, to make some money. So since I was little, I liked the commercial activity.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not know what business to do. I finished computer science in Cluj-Napoca at the university. And then I imagined that I would do a business in IT, software development or something like this. But reality is that after I married with Juana, we both work in a networking company. And there we met some friends that invited us to join their business. So we went there and did water drilling. And from that industry of water drilling, I had the opportunity to buy heavy machinery for them. So there's where I saw the opportunity for machines and technology. Romania was just before entering the European Union, 2006, and we had a lot of opportunity coming for developing infrastructure, roads, networks. So then I saw the need. So that's how we got into this industry. That's how we started a business into this industry of heavy machinery. At the beginning, we did not have all the vision or to make a big company. We only wanted to have some income to survive in a city like Cluj-Napoca. So that was our desire to have a good job and to work together. I saw opportunity of doing a project together with my wife, with Juana. She's very good in operations, in management, in finance, and I'm very good in sales, marketing, and development. So we do a good team together. And this was the opportunity for us to start working together. And that's how we started absolutely from scratch. Many people believe, especially in Eastern Europe, that you need to have money to start a business, or you need to have different relations, or to inherit something big, or to have some parents that are very influential in society, or to have some good friends. Reality is we did not have all this. We started absolutely from scratch, just from an idea, from a dream, actually. And of course, it was a journey. It took us approximately 2 years from the idea to have the first customer. And this was really a challenge for us at the beginning, because we did not know if the model of business it's okay, or if we can start it. We only had the idea. So this was very challenging at the beginning.
I'm gonna make a short bracket over here. I think there are a couple of nuances that I'm reading between the lines over here. When we say that everybody can start a business, I think we should set expectations for folks, right? And I want to extrapolate this through an example that might be easier to understand, and that would be like a coffee shop, okay? Maybe you guys need to think of starting small. And I think business has a lot to do, and that's why I'm a big fan of the BPO IT industry itself, because it's very much focused on MVP, that minimum viable product out there that can test the market and see if we can first feed ourselves, right, as you mentioned, and then, you know, crawl, sacrifice, work, grow, jump, and eventually shout. Okay, so don't try this the other way around and start shouting just because you have a business until you haven't tested it out there. And something essential that you have mentioned over there is that you might be ahead of the time, or there might be a scenario in which it takes time to make a market. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist out there, right? For example, if you were frustrated about getting machinery into a country that was about to enter in EU for heavy duty or drilling, you just immediately saw that a lot of other folks might have this frustration with getting proper equipment to do that. So that's so sometimes I guess what I'm trying to go with this, based on what Ruben mentioned so far, is that if you think of your biggest frustrations out there and there isn't a solution for it, that might be the business for you. Because those frustrations out there, or what's lacking out there, might be lacking for someone else who is willing to pay the higher buck for someone else to do it. So that's something that I wanted to mention with respect to what you said, starting a business without money and identifying opportunity over there. And did you became aware of your I wouldn't call them strengths and weaknesses. I would call them, you know, your strong suit and your areas of improvement. Were you aware of these from the beginning, or how long did it take you to discover?
No, reality is that we were only focused on sales at the beginning. We did not. Many people ask me, okay, how did we make the analysis? How did we know that this is a good industry to go in, or to invest in, or to create a business in? Reality is that I only saw the opportunity. I felt the need there in the market. I came up with the solution. Also innovated a little bit the model of sales of second-hand machinery, because we started with second-hand machinery at the beginning, but we did not pay too much attention of the strong points or the strong suits, or no. We were only focused on sales and making sales and making awareness and make people know that we exist. This was the focus in the first maybe 4 years or so of business. The reality is that the beginning was very, very difficult, because we had no money to buy at least one heavy machinery.
Yeah.
We went to the bank to make a plan, and we asked for 50,000 euros, and they did not want to give us the money because we had no guarantee how
Yeah.
to pay them back. Even if we could guarantee with the machine that we wanted to buy. So that was not possible. So that's how we were in a context of very strict context where we had no solution but to innovate. So
Yeah.
we had to come up with a different proposal for our customers so that they can pay in advance a machine that they can only see on the website with some photos and videos at the beginning. And this was very at the beginning of e-commerce, so 2006. Not so many heavy machinery sold online until then. So that's why we had no resources. If we would have the resources, probably that we would have made the traditional trade, like buy and then sell in another market or in another country.
Yeah,
but we did not have the resources. So
yeah, but that could have been a mistake. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that could have turned out a mistake. Buying assets on stock, which we don't know when we sell them, and the depreciation of the value over there, and time goes by, and economic boom, economic recession cycles, you don't know if you're going to sell or not. So maybe what happened was for the best.
For sure. Now when I look back, I know it is for the best. And now after years of experience, now we have the opportunity to have stock, and now we have the data to know in what stock to invest and how to have a good return on our investment from the stock that we use as heavy machinery. But it was a good learning curve for us, and we had the opportunity to learn by doing. So trial and error, it's not the best way to learn, but very good lessons that we can take out of this.
Yeah, I often say this with humor when I am dragged. I don't engage. I just want to mention I'm dragged in conversations. What should I do further? And we go into the idea of education, which I think is extremely valuable. And you know that at my roots, I'm an educator myself. But if you want to have one of the best business schools that exists out there, and I think it's budget fit to anyone's risk appetite or finances over there, it's starting a business. I think there's a transformational journey, and I think it's important for folks to understand that in order to reach a new level, you might need to become a different person, right? If you look back at the person that you were back then, I don't think you would thrive right now or manage to oversee so many employees and so many transactions and have so many commercial contracts. Definitely, you've transformed yourself and leveled up your game so much, right?
Right. I think it's a journey of transformation, and this is something very interesting for business, because you are challenged with so much risk, with so much opportunity, with so much resources. Business can be a platform where you can become great, successful, having money, having influence, and it's a journey of transformation. If we don't protect our heart and our motivation, business can be also very damaging for a leader, for the family, for the community. So for me, the beginning was very difficult because we had no results in sales, and I wanted to give up many times. And then the test for me was perseverance and the resilience, and how to keep on going when you have no results and you don't see the results yet. But after the results came, after like 5 years or 10 years, another risk came, because business can make you feel important. And then for me, the trick was, or the challenge and temptation was, to define my personal value and identity from the business that I founded. And this is a very tricky game because it's never-ending game. The business will always want more from you: more attention, more creativity, more sales, more networks, more time, more and more.
Sounds like a mistress.
Yeah, exactly. So that was another challenge for me in the journey to realize that, hey, the business, it's very different from me. The business is something that I created. I found it. Yes, we work in the business,
Yeah.
but the business, it's not ourselves. It's not our child. It's not part of the family. The business, it's a thing. It's not the person. It's not. So, of course, it gave me also benefits. After a while, the business gave me a lot of benefits, like being successful, being known, having a name or reputation. But I realized that I need to separate myself, and I need to understand business is business, and me, I have value because of who I am, not because of the business that I created. So it's still a journey of transformation.
Yeah, and I think this is a very important puzzle piece in our friendship. The fact that you have not forgotten who you actually are and your values, right, over the time. For I think it's valid for both of us. So I'm going to do a small recap with some of the most important key aspects in this transformational journey that I want to share with the others. Number one, it takes time. It takes time, no matter how much you want to beat it, cheat it, cut it shorter, take it on a different alley. It's going to take time. Number two would be if you lost hope into it, I think it's gonna die. So even if your father, grandfather, wife tells you you should drop this, if you still have hope, then pursue it. If you don't believe in it, I think results will fail to follow. And I think this is important to underline. Number three would be see the opportunity where frustration or lackness occurs. And I think this is something that we easily overlook. There are very many opportunities over there, but what we need to understand is, because I think this is how life is built in general, you first have to pay the price in full for something to eventually to happen, right? People want the advantages and the perks of what a business might bring, but I'm not sure they're completely aware of what it takes to pay in full as the price for getting over there. I am 90% certain when I talk about 100 entrepreneurs, 90 of them are not aware of what they have to pay in full in advance. I think the next one, number four, would be transformation. You completely have to accept that you are in a constantly morphing status. And who you were yesterday is not going to be enough for today's business. Okay? Number five would be balance. If you got to improve your mood, if you got to sharpen your saw, if you have forgotten to go for dinner with your wife, if you forgotten how it is to go in a holiday or stuff like that, find a balance quickly. I mean, it doesn't have to be going and skiing in San Moritz. Balance can be found by sharpening the saw, maybe having a walk in the woods, or drinking a good cognac next to reflecting or reading a good book. So I'm not talking only about expensive habits. Number six would be bring revenue. You think differently with your stomach full and your fridge at least half full. So bring in revenue. Try to maximize this early. Try to build a system. Try to build channels while you're sleeping that would bring some potential customers. Otherwise, you're gonna be very, very grumpy and take bad decisions. Okay. And last but not least is don't forget who you are, where you started, and why you started this. And make sure that why sticks with you through this transformational journey. Do you think that's a good summary of what you talked so far, Ruben?
Very good summary, Darius. Amazing.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Now, Ruben, you know what? I think there's a component of trust in business, which streamlines processes, streamlines thinking, and especially communication because of the trust component over there. And we're going to talk about Guild also and its mission, because I think it's something fantastic over there. But first of all, those are some of the advantages of working with family members. Okay? But I want us to talk about other advantages and let's face it, also some of the challenges that exists over there, right? Because we might tell an employee that something not right in their face, but we got to treat things maybe with a golden glove when we're talking to our spouse.
Well, regarding family business, I think there are many advantages. So when I look back, I think this is the strongest point or our strongest advantage, that we build this together with Wana, with my wife. So there are so many advantages. You mentioned trust. Yes, trust, I think it's number one. It's also alignment, that we have the same vision, the same values, and yes, we have the same priorities in life, and this brings alignment, and it's very easy when we create a team. Alignment is very important. And then, of course, it's speed, because in a family we take decision much faster. So we don't need to wait in a big line of approval processes and so on. And in the world where we are, that is so emergent and rapidly changing, I think being fast and being quick in decisions, it's critical. And also dedication. Family members would be much more dedicated to the business than only an employee. Even if you have good bonuses as a manager, when you know that you are a founder there and stakeholder, and you do this for the families, and you want to for the family, and you want to leave a legacy behind, dedication, it's much more stronger than in another context. And then maybe also it's contribution, because as a family, at a certain point, you think, okay, what is the reason for all this? What is the meaning? What do we want to leave behind? How do we want to impact the world? How do we want to know that the world is a better place because our business exists? So then, as a family, you can have a good impact through social responsibility, investing in people, investing in different things in society, so you can create a better world. You could have a good impact as a company. So those would be some of the top advantages that I see as a family business. Of course, on the other side, it comes the challenges of having a family business. And for me, working together with my wife, for us, one of the biggest challenges was the role. The overlapping of roles. That means that, of course, I'm also a founder and the CEO, but I'm also a husband. And when I'm going home and we have dinner together, many times we were having a board discussion from the company because the discussion did not end, and there was a lot of tension, and we brought that tension at home, at dinner. And this can affect our family life. And then, of course, it's coming the balance, because the business always want more. The business is very greedy. It will not say, yes, it's enough, take some time off, go in a vacation, go. No, the business wants more. As the business grows, there are more challenges, more opportunities, and more of our energy, time, resources. So the work and life balance, it is a challenge when you do business together with your wife. And for us, it was, and it still is, a big challenge. And something that I saw in other businesses, not for us specifically, for us it was more with friends than with family, because we don't have too many family members in our business, but still, it was with friends. The closest friends that we started the business together at the beginning, we had the challenge of making different advantages for them. And this could demotivate the other people, high professional, that come in the business later. Because we mixed the relation and the friendship with the business relation, I see a challenge there. And we used to do that. Because at the beginning, we used to work all in the same office. We used to eat together, to go out together. We mixed a little bit friendship with business. And
it didn't end up well.
Didn't end well. Yes, well. So this was a challenge. So now we pay much more attention to these challenges, and we try to resolve them, to become more professional and to separate some of the things.
Yeah, I want to touch on two sensitive key points over here. I just want to give everybody a spoiler alert. Work-life balance can be extremely challenging, but even if you don't work with your wife or family members, right? And as Ruben said, careers and businesses in general will be extremely greedy and needy, and always try to suck you in the void over there. but I think, after a certain point, you just have to make sure your focus is smart, not just hard, over there. And the line between friendship and business. The advice I can give over here is to look at how someone is, working as a professional before as a friend, right? There's this mixed gray area in which we say I can trust that guy to share some of my thoughts, explore, spar with him on different business topics. Oh, and he's quite challenging, quite engaged. That doesn't mean, that's not a guarantee that he will also apply this in his work. Okay, so just because someone is a very good friend, that doesn't mean he's going to be a very good match for you in business. And one of the things that has worked for me in the past is just setting KPIs from the beginning, and that's it. And what I did for this friend of mine was actually to set harder KPIs for him than for others. So I was discriminating on the other way around. But that was because I knew him, that it was possible for him to go beyond his current status quo. So it was more of a motivational tool out there. But I can purely understand the challenge over there. Now, a lot of people are focused on growth. And then I think we know the theory from economics as economies of scale, why you should do that. But I think there's an ugly side of growth also, especially if it's a hockey stick kind of effect and not sustainable, and you don't have a solid foundation for it to constantly grow, like building a block of apartments over there. And I want to talk a bit about the pain points of growth in this transformational journey that you had, and where did you actually start seeing some symptoms that you got to step in, you got to deep dive and rethink everything so that you can go to the next level?
Well, as an entrepreneur, I like the growth. I love the growth, and I like to be fast and yes, to crush our competition, to be visible, to have a brand recognition. I love all that part. The challenges or the red flags that came for us were a couple, and I'm going to share with you. For example, it was a financial risk that I was not so aware of. So I underestimated the financial investment needed to scale our business national level. So 2 years ago, it was in autumn, after just opening two locations in two cities in Romania, Bucharest, our capital, and Iași is part of Romania. And it was a very hard year. Of course, you invest. First, you create capacity, you open your offices, you employ people, a lot of investment. And after the third quarter, sending the financials to the bank, we received a notification from them that our financials are not good. And then we have to return in that month 800,000 euros back to the bank from our line of credit. And that hit us very hard. I did not imagine that is possible, that during the year, after we negotiated terms and conditions and line of credit that we were counting on to make the scale, the bank says, okay, show is over, give us the money back. We think you are in risk position financially, and we don't want risk as much as you do with our money, so give us the money back. I was not expecting that. That was an uppercut for me. It was in September. I had no idea how we are going to finish the year, because we needed so much the money. The money were already invested in stock, in people, in capacity. So we had big negotiations with the bank to transform that line of credit into a mid-term credit for 3 years and to return the money gradually back. But it is a financial risk when you scale very fast, when you grow very fast. So stability for the company and continuity is very important. So then I realized, okay, we grow, but we need to make sure that our company will continue to exist next year. So for us, that was a very big challenge, the financial side. Then we also had operational challenges while growing. For example, we started to have difficulties in operations. If before all the operational side, all the sales and after sales were going okay. Having a business only in one region, in Romania, in Transylvania, when we scaled, everything went longer. For example, the service was doubled in time. The medium time of service for one machine were doubled. The delivery time for our customer from 1 week, it transformed to 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So we had challenges in delivery, in logistics, and everything was because we brought too much chaos in our very fragile system. So we had a fragile system that we created, but we were not expecting to have these challenges, these operational challenges. And also, we faced a lot of cultural challenges. For example, we were like a family business. We really tried to bring in our company people with same values, to be honest, to be very fast, to be very excellent towards the customer. And then when we needed to hire like 60 people in 1 year, we could not control the quality and the values and the culture of the company. So everything got derated. So this was a very big challenge for our culture and a very big risk for us, because we realized that there are more new people in the company, that the ones that really understand the vision, the mission, the values, how we do what we do, how do we respect the customer, how do we treat the customer, how do we make effort that the customers will be very happy for the products and services that we deliver. And this got, the standards went down a lot. Also, there was a lot of frustration in the company. Why? Because we needed to bring up another level of management. We brought managers from outside the organization, and the reality is that not all of them were really at the level of the organization. And then the old people in the team that really worked so hard to bring the company in that position of scaling, they were extremely frustrated because they had managers and bosses that maybe they were not so experienced like they were, not so dedicated to the company, and maybe not also so experienced. So we brought a lot of frustration in the teams, between the teams, a lot of
tension,
friction, a lot of challenges, and this really brought us in a position where we realized we need to stable the growth. And maybe we need to take it slower until we make sure that we have the right people, the right team, and then we resolve the operational challenges, because otherwise the customers can get unsatisfied with us, even if our desire is to make them happy and to have the best experience in the industry. So yes, those were some challenges that we faced while we scaled the business at national level.
And I want to thank you for sharing so intimately about it. And I think I have a few observations here and some messages. The first one, I tend to be the kind of the devil's advocate whenever I have sparring sessions with executives or the XCOM, or having presentations about what to expect in the next quarter or how we forecast the year. And I really put a high handicap out there for my sales. And I do that on purpose, and I put an additional handicap, and I inflate a bit my costs so that I would have some additional headroom when things start going south. Of course, depending on the culture of the board or the owners, this is seen as being too conservatory and maybe a bit demotivating. As for others, look at this with high appreciation, right? Because they wanna have numbers which would be bankable. What does it mean to be bankable? It means that even if things go decently south, I would still be bankable and get that loan and get that credit line, as opposed to me planning to build 3 houses at the cost of 1 in a third of the time. Right. But I think this is a huge tendency out there. And that's why I see so many VCs rushing in, over evaluating companies, or companies that next day disappear and we don't know what happened with them. So I think I would rather stick to being a bit more pessimistic and conservatory over here when I plan with budgets and forecast sales over there. As for the operational challenges that you've mentioned, I think the lack of procedures, sometimes is worse than having outdated procedures, right? Because when you have outdated procedures, you at least know where things are blocked. That is a stupid, not up-to-date procedure that is not relevant and blocks things. Okay, but when you don't have procedures, I'm going to tell you 110% is going to be blocked with folks which are in a dizzy, vertigo scenario. They don't know what to do. They're paralyzed, and they're going to start depending on their boss. And when they depend on their boss cannot go on a holiday without talking nonstop on the phone. The boss cannot miss a sales call without the others messing the deal. The boss cannot take an educated decision based on what they said because it's biased for them covering their mistakes. And these are just some of the observations from my experience of having a lack of procedures over there. I'm not saying that this is the case from what you told me. I'm just, trying to double my experience based on what you lived over there. Now, the best thing with procedures is that you can write them every day. The worst thing is that it blocks time, and it's really, really, really boring and grunt work. So that's the downside with them. And you mentioned something, and I see this very, very often. I cannot emphasize how often, and I'm talking from startup to multinationals. Managers that were either promoted in that position because they were the oldest in the company, or B, were brought in from a bigger company where they had a guy at IT, they had a guy at legal, they had someone, doing their coffee, they had someone reading the contract before them, or brought in an entrepreneurial type of business, fail and fail and fail. And that is a problem of not validating competency, okay? And that happens so often, and it's painful. But it's not a guarantee if someone was successful in a specific environment at a specific time within a specific opportunity that he will or she will be able to replicate that in your business. So I think I once said that if you work from someone from outside, it's great that you're focusing what they did so far, but then you should think of realistically what they can do for your business, as opposed to just dreaming that they would replicate that success 100% like they did in the past. So, and the last one would be about debt. I know that there's so much encouragement out there for debt and gearing ratio as part of a fiscal advantage and emphasis. I want to tell folks that it's extremely dangerous. And I think that once you pass on a certain gearing percentage over there, it's starting to be dangerous. Ruben has warned us over here, but he was able to transform his credit line into a midterm credit, perhaps with some collaterals. Again, he's risking something. He's having something in the game over there. But guys, you might not have this possibility, and it might be game over. And bankruptcy next to your name doesn't mean you can't start again, but it will be much harder to have access to finance because that's a business card that you have failed. So just want to pass on this message out there. I think one of the things that I'm fond of with respect to your profile as a CEO and as an investor is the appetite for polarizing the portfolio of investments and being a jack of multiple trades over there. So I want to talk about the extreme industries in which you went, because they are extreme if you come to think about it, right? Going from heavy duty machinery and equipment. And why did you do this step? And what's the end in mind over here, or your investment philosophy?
Well, Darius, I would like to say that I was very intentional, and I had a big strategy behind, and so on.
Don't say that. Everybody says that. Don't say that. Let's take it's full of materials out there.
I did not have. It was an opportunity. For example, a friend, a high school colleague, came up to me and said, "Ruben, there is this opportunity of investing in this company that will produce hair treatment and hair growth products, Romanian solutions, and they really need marketing and sales. You're good at this. Maybe you can have a look." And I honestly said at the first, I said, what does that have to do with us? We are in a heavy machinery industry. We are not in
Yeah.
cosmetic industry. It's completely different profile of customer, industry. Everything is different. But I said, okay, let's try. So we took some products, we gave it to our friends. We had amazing results, and then I I had this idea of how could we invest in some brands that give another perspective for the Romanian environment, Romanian economy. Reality is that our nation in Romania grew a lot in the last 35 years after revolution, but still we are not in a point where we have the courage to create products and services and to sell it all over the world. We are still maybe in an outsourced economy and an economy of raw material. We export a lot of grain, a lot of minerals, a lot of wood, and so on. And I know that the added value it's when you create new products and services and you can export them all over the world. So then I said I would like to try. I would like to learn something new. So I took it as a challenge for me to learn how to make production, how to manufacture some products that you create a brand, you create some good products, and you add value and you sell them. Because I know that only creating products and making export, we can add value to the local economy and we can grow the local economy. So it was a challenge for me. I already knew how to do trade, how to do import, export of goods. I already knew this industry, but I was intrigued and challenged by production. So that is the motivation behind. It was more difficult than I imagined. Even if we had some examples in Romania of good brands of cosmetics that were already exporting all over the world, it was more difficult than I imagined, and it took me maybe more years than I wanted. But I'm glad that right now we are in a good position. And last year it was first year when we went break-even after very hard, maybe 3 or 4 years of trial and error investment and so on. So it was not a logical investment. Normally, all the investment, or if other investors maybe would have stopped after 2 years, but we continued. I saw the potential. I really wanted it to succeed, but we went over the plan and over the over the limit of investing in that company. Right now we are in a good position, but it was some very expensive lessons that we needed to learn together with the team. We had to do a lot of changes in the team, in the products, in the design, in the packaging. There were a lot of lessons learned. I would not do it again like that, but I'm happy we did not quit, and now we are in a position of break even, and already now we are going on profit after maybe 5 years of hard work with that company.
Yeah, I can. I think the fantastic thing about this is that you had the affordability, or you afforded learning this lesson. Okay, we have to look at the side that is also full of bliss over here, of blessing, right? Because you might ended up having a sorrow lesson from all this. So eventually it turned out well. But again, it comes back to the bullet points we had: not lose your sight, not lose your faith, not forget who you are, keep pushing, keep crawling. So it goes back to how we started this podcast. I wanna talk a bit about your way of looking when trying to assess a new investment, right? Because your time became more valuable, even though you have the finances. Your bandwidth, your time, your wear and tear has become a sensitive topic in putting up on its feet a new business. Another 4 years, another 5 years. So, what do you look for, or what do you look towards when you decide to take this opportunity?
Well, until now, Darius, most of our investment were in the our main company, Utilben, in the ecosystem that we're building there. So actually, most of the investments were creating a new line of businesses there where we already knew the market. External businesses were first with family. So we have a business in agriculture together with my father. Also the other business is Regivero. It's again in the family, the cosmetic businesses together with my sister, with Laura. The other businesses that we are invested in are close friends. For example, from Guild community, together with some friends, we decided to invest in some young entrepreneurs, and the purpose there is mentorship. It's investing our resources, our experience, and to pass it to another generation of entrepreneurs. And this is how I am motivated right now for new investments, is to see the potential in a young entrepreneur or a young team that is developing a business. And I'm looking for talent, I'm looking for opportunity, and I'm very interested to see how can I add value with my experience, with my resources, and the influence that we have together with our friends. How can we help that business scale maybe easier, maybe faster, and maybe only to be near somebody that is really struggling at the beginning? Because I had this big need at the beginning to have some mentors in the business, to have somebody to talk with, to have some models. And it was extremely difficult for us. We had to learn from books, from videos, from different events. And we did not really find mentors here in Romania when we started. So I want to be that resource and that mentor that we did not have for other young entrepreneurs. So I'm looking for entrepreneurs that have a higher maybe vision, maybe they want to have a bigger impact, maybe they have a different sense and meaning for why they do what they do, to have some different values, to have the courage to be different in their industry. And I'm very looking forward to invest in a young team of entrepreneurs.
Okay, it seems that it's been a while since I've had, the business breakfasts with you guys at the Guild Club over there. It looks like you guys turned into a venture capitalist firm over there, and
Not yet.
business. Let's say
maybe more like angel investors
yeah,
right now.
I wanted to say business angels. Yeah,
Yeah.
the guardian angels maybe of others, but that's exciting to find out. Let's touch a bit about Guild in general, and why this concept, and what's its mission, and why there's a need for you to do this in general.
Well, Guild started in 2017 with a passion that was on Daniel's heart and my heart. Daniel's it's a good friend. He's from IT, from Cluj. He's also an investor, and he's leading some big business in IT in Romania. And having a coffee with him, we ask each other, who are the people that we can really be honest, vulnerable, and to ask questions in business? And reality is that we realize there are not so many friends in business or people in business that you can really be very open and to be vulnerable and to ask the question and to share the challenges and to be sure that the other person understands you, wants what is the best for you, and is willing to help you with all the experience, resources, connections, and so on. So we really had that need, and we did not know how to resolve it. So we said, okay, let's start some kind of a club. We did not want it to say a club. We said, okay, let's start a community where maybe three friends meet with other three friends for breakfast. So that's how Guild started in 2017. In Transylvania, we had guilds. It came from the Germans, and the guilds were like in one profession. If you wanted to learn how to work with iron, you were going into the irons guild. So, and you were learning for 5 years, and then you had some 2 years of experience international, and then you could become a master and then have some disciples and teach them that vocation. So I said, why don't we have that in business also? Because it would be amazing to have a guild where you can learn from each other. If we don't have mentors in Romania, at least we have peers, and we can learn from each other. We can help each other grow on personal side, on professional side, on the spiritual side, and really create like a band of brothers where we can help each other, where we learn how to trust, to collaborate, and to help each other grow in different spheres. And then, of course, after we grow, we want to have a good impact in our community, in our city, and then in our nation. So this is how we started. This was in 2017. Back then, this was the need. We did not have a bigger vision or to have more communities like this in other cities in Romania. But reality is that there is such a big need. Leadership and business and entrepreneurship can be lonely. It's a lonely journey. This is reality. So then it's amazing if you can find other people that have the same challenges, the same market, the same opportunities, and that are willing to share, to be vulnerable, to say, look, this is the phase I'm challenging with. So who can help me, and so on. So this is how we started. Now Guild is present in 5 cities in Romania, and we have 25 communities like this. We have 2 verticals. One vertical is focused on business, called Guild Leaders. And also we started another vertical 2 years ago, Guild Faith. We realized that in Romania we have a big challenge. We have many Christians, more than 80% of the population consider themselves Christians, but we don't apply that in business. We still face corruption, we face human trafficking, we face a lot of big challenges that are completely separated from Christianity. So we said, okay, how could we create these communities where we help each other grow our businesses based on biblical principles? And how do we apply the things that we know in theory to the marketplace? Because we believe that this principle can bring transformation in the communities, in the businesses, and in our nation. So that's what we have until now. Our vision, of course, is to see our nation transformed. We want to see transformation through marketplace leaders, through leaders that really integrate these values in their lives, and then they can bring hope and transformation through good examples in their communities, in the cities, and in the nation. I really believe that if the business community in Romania would change, would have the ability to transform, to change the principles, the values, to become honest, to become collaborative, to become resourceful, to help others, to go in the contribution phase, to go out from the phase of only fighting with each other to a phase of contributing to a higher purpose, our nation would completely change. Because we believe that the change will come from the political side. Reality is that the business community supports the political side. So this is our theory. We really believe in change. We would like to see our nation transformed and changed in the next 10, 20 years. And we are doing what we can from bottom up. Other organizations, institutions, stakeholders are doing transformation top down. And if everybody is doing their part, I believe that we will have a transformation in our nation in the next 10, 20 years.
Very ambitious. A couple of keynotes over here. From my experience with education and changing through education, this is a very long-term journey. But it's not going to be a house of cards that will clash at the first win. That's number one with education. I think regardless of the question, education is a first answer. You might get easier results with the stick, but that's going to leave wounds. And that's going to test loyalty, ethics, and way of thinking in a dark way if we try to make changes only by using the stick. Of course, it can be demotivating to hear that you have to invest 10 years in your education before you collect some fruits. But let me put a spoiler and disclosure out there. 10 years are going to pass by either way. You're going to be 10 years later, whether you like it or not. So I think looking back at what you did with those 10 years in sharpening your craft and working on your education can make a huge difference. I think I'm pretty much gutted about how many videos and materials are out there about how to be successful, how to become a billionaire, how to grow your business, how to 10x, 20x, and I think over 90% of them are from folks that never did this with their own business, sadly. So I think us having a premiere in which we talk about how lonely it is as a journey, how hard it can be. You might want to talk with your spouse or a couple of friends, but how can you explain to someone in a wheelchair how it is to run? How can you do that? I mean, there's a Paralympics over there. He might take part, participate, but he's going to use his hands to run. Okay, and I'm sorry I'm taking such a sensitive example over here, but that's the reality of it. How can I talk about my problems with someone that has heard this only in theory? Okay, so that's also part of the lonely journey over here. But I just want to mention that this is part of the transformation itself, and it's part of the price you have to pay. And there are still valuable people over there. You just need to understand that with some of them, the friendship and relationship transforms itself also. You might talk maybe only about the weather or only about the business or about what's your favorite food and what we've been traveling, or can talk about real business problems. So there will be friends and friends. That doesn't mean you have to leave anyone behind, but do expect others to not be able to understand or to judge you because of the path you have taken. So you need to be Teflon bulletproof with respect to that, so it doesn't affect your morale. I often tell folks that one of the first business book that I've read, and I can still consider the best, even 3,000 years later, is the Bible. And I want to touch a bit with you about Christian values, because what I see there in terms of temptation is short-term gains. It makes something sweeter or better as an investment, or quicker buck or higher buck or low quality profits would be much more attractive as if we were to conduct business having Christian principles. Okay. And I think we both had, or everybody every day has the opportunity to test their Christian values at least once. So I want to talk about how important it is to not forget these principles as fame, money, success, ego comes into picture.
Well, Darius, here is a very big challenge because we are talking about two very different kingdoms.
Yeah.
In one kingdom, it's all about me, myself, how great I am, how successful I can become, to create a name for me,
Yeah.
to become my personal god, to have the ability to decide what is good, what is bad. So this is one part of the kingdom, and we as humans, we all are tempted to go in that way, especially in business and leadership. It's all about who's the strongest, who's the fastest. It's about you yourself, and yes, becoming great, building a big name, a big reputation for yourself. And we have the other kingdom where we have the model from Jesus Christ, the founder of Christianity, and then in that kingdom, it's about the others. It's about how can I serve my close people around me with what I was given. It's not about me. Nothing it's about me. Everything was given to me, and I'm a steward of my business, of the resources, of everything. And with all the gifts, talents, abilities, influence, I use them for the greater good, to create a better world, to help the other, to serve the other, to contribute to something higher. And this has, they are very clashing principles. They are very.
They tend to cancel one another.
Yes, and it's a fight from the beginning of the history between the two philosophies of life, and it's not easy, especially as I said. Yes, when you look at a book like the Bible, thousands of years old, people say, okay, but that's ancient.
Yeah, it's outdated.
Something new. It's outdated. Let's look at something new. A new writer, a new thing in 5 points, a new thing of how to become successful overnight. how to make a lot of money to be successful. So Bible looks outdated. Bible looks like, okay, but this was for the from another age. But if people have the patience to look into the principles, they are very, very good, healthy principles of how to build life, family, business, community, and how to find peace and joy and meaning to our lives and to our existence here on earth. And the Bible is much more than a good book for principles for business. Of course, if we apply them, we have very good results because it's all about the others. And if the business can create products and can create an environment to help the people grow, to help the people achieve their potential, and also serve people with products and services, and they want to do for a greater good, for sure they will have success. But Bible, it's much more than that. Bible, it's a good news. It's a good news that I can find restoration. I can find back the connection and relation with God that I lost some times ago, and I can have another identity. I don't have to prove myself that I'm valuable. Somebody else already did it for me, and the message of the Bible is a message of good news. It's a good news that it's not only about now and here.
Yeah.
We have a perspective about the future. We have a hope for our future. And also we can find peace and joy and happiness in who God is and how can we have a relation with God. It's not about us. It's about God and his story. But we are invited to be part of this story. And this is amazing good news for everybody.
Yeah, I think you know, as you said, the words themselves are really clashing, right? And there's you know, always gonna be a situation in which you're tested, and you might fail, right? Because everybody is prone to failure, but that doesn't mean you have to keep falling back and repeating that habit, right, until it, you know, infuses in your DNA over there. But there are a couple of, you know, valuable lessons that you can look at them very objectively. The reason why I stuck it to business, because I didn't want to go into a purely religious, philosophical, spiritual kind of conversation, which I think it's important, and you know I'm very fond of, especially from a philosophical point of view. But I try to give something for those bad mouths out there which says, well, this guy's talking philosophy, he's not talking business, right? So I'm going to break it down for them and try to maybe give some short titles over here or short mantras, which I think you can easily pick up from the Bible from a business perspective, okay, if that's okay with you. And maybe you'll join the exercise and even correct me if I'm wrong. So first one would be to avoid the catch and kill mentality. So just because you burned one client right now, you're not going to be able to do that like forever, and it's going to be a matter of time until what comes around goes around. So the catch and kill mentality is definitely something you should avoid. Second thing would be do things right. Do them right. Don't constantly think of where to cut, where to save, where to stab, where to milk, where to skim. Do it right. And I think that's important to remember. Don't steal, earn. Instead of putting the effort to steal, try putting that effort to earn, and what you'll earn will be exponentially more. Don't mislead, build trust. You might not sell today or tomorrow, but that person will stick with your name and will call you one day. And that's happened to me so many times. And I think everybody maybe has an example over here, but if you don't try to mislead just to make that sale, but build trust, it's going to be exponentially better for you. Now, work as you would work for yourself. You can do things right for others, but you can do things right differently for you. Okay, if you're contracted to do a job, do it as if it would be your own business or as if your career would depend on it. And this is something that I see very often in Japanese culture, right? With the focus on quality and improvement. Even if it takes time, do it as if you do it for yourself. And the last thing that comes in mind, of course, there are tons of them, but these are just what popped in my mind as you mentioned about the two words clashing. Is you want to help others, that's fine, but help yourself first. You gotta make sure that you are capable of helping others, and you just don't do it because you're falling in love with Christian values at the detriment of yourself, and in a position that you are unable to help yourself. So make sure that by helping others, you're not actually killing yourself, and I'm talking metaphorically over here. So that's what I wanted to touch base, and aside from the philosophical point of view. So maybe you can correct me here, or add some additional that comes in mind.
What I would add, Darius, here, it's amazing things that you said. Something that really helped me to have a different approach on business was the concept of stewardship. Because the Bible teaches us about the stewardship, that it's not like we own things, that God is the owner, and then we are stewards of everything that was entrusted to us. And this helped me to take better decisions in business. When I realized that, it was much more easier, because as a steward, I want what is the best for my employees. I want to have to reduce the risk. I want to make everything right, because I don't lose from my side. So then it was easier for me to make things right with people from the concept of stewardship. So stewardship, it's connected with integrity, because if you're a steward, then why to cheat? Because you don't cheat from you. You don't lose from your side. Why to cheat? It's more. It has more sense to be honest, to be to work with integrity, with righteousness in everything that you do, with the interaction with the customers, employees, suppliers, everybody. And then you're more relaxed. It's not about you so much when you understand the concept of stewardship. And of course, it's also generosity. If not everything it's about you, and if everything was given to you to serve the others and to have a good impact in the world, then you can be generous. You can have compassion. You can invest your resources, time, experience in other people, and to help create a better world. Also, in business, we are challenged with pride. In business, it's all about you, how great you are, and the Bible teaches us about humility. That is a virtue. That humility will protect our heart and will keep us with a foot on the ground, to know that it's not all about us. We are not the greatest in the world, in the universe. There are so many other people, and it's good to understand also our limitations and to rely more on who God is, and to put our hope and security for the future, in who God is. So these are some things that I learned from the Bible. Also, maybe the concept of righteousness, why to be right, and if it's only about this world, like my life, the 50, 100 years, I don't know how much we live in this earth, then it makes no sense to be honest and to be right and to do good. It's the justice has no meaning. But if we know that there is more in life than this, then justice and righteousness make sense. So
there's an after party. Let's call it this way. There's an after party, and your dress code will depend very much on how you do things.
Exactly.
Let's put it in a funny metaphor, and thank you for sharing that. I also believe there's a lot of value in that. And as we go back a bit to this transformational journey of ours, and the business itself, and the character, the ego, the soul, the mind, whatever we want to touch over here. What do you think it's important after we start floating, we start having our fridge full? Where should we actually start reinvesting that money?
Well, what we did was to reinvest in our working businesses. So we watched what is working well, And we always try to see how can we improve the services, how can we create better products of what is already working well.
Yeah.
So we realized that the construction industry for us is working well. So then we said, okay, how can we improve it? How can we go, maybe if we started our business with second-hand machinery, how can we go to new machinery? If we started with new machinery, small, how can we go to bigger machinery? So always there is place for improvement. And after you spend enough years in an industry, you get creative, you get good ideas, you understand the market very well, and you can innovate there very well, and you can create new products and services that really are very valuable with a lot of added value. So that's why most of our investment were on our strongest lines of business, and we strengthened that. But of course, some of the investments were in new things that we tried, because always it's good to try some new things. So that's why we extended, and we also invested a little bit in other industries. But what was really worked well was in the place where we had expertise, where we had experience, where we had knowledge, where we had data from the market, where we already had the profile of the customer, we knew what they wanted, and we came with different products and services. That's why we created more line of businesses, and that's why we invested there, because we realized, hey, it's easier now than it was 15, 20 years ago, because we know already the market, we know what is possible, we have information, we have data. And then if we sell, for example, a heavy machinery to a customer, they will need service too. If we sell a machine, maybe they want some attachments and accessories. So we created a line of attachments and accessories in construction that will help the customer to be more productive. So that was a separate line of business that we created based on the experience that we had. And then we realized that the market is also moving from owning machinery to renting machinery, because customers want to pay what they use. They don't want to invest much money. So then we realized, okay, we are in a strategic position where we can do that. And it's easy for us because we can sell and also we can rent. Why to wait for another company to start rental and to take us out from the market, where we can be the ones that do transformation, innovation, and to do it ourselves? So that's how we invested. But it was step by step, year by year, with always having in mind the long-term vision, and also the desire to have better products and better services for our customers.
I think what I can, bring some humor based on what you said to make let's say, a catchy observation would be, for those of you out there scared by ChatGPT or AI taking your jobs, if you can blend in creativity with expertise and a way to disrupt, I think you're gonna be fine. I don't think AI will take your job just yet. So guys, sharpen the saw, be good at your craft, make sure you understand an industry, because that's how you innovate. And as we mentioned at the beginning of this episode, opportunities are out there. As soon as you can come out of the operational void, which is a vampire of energy, and start affording the luxury to think, use it. Don't use this time just to plan the holiday or the next car you're gonna buy. Use this to identify opportunities so that you can disrupt. Thank you, Ruben, for sharing that. So I think, a vast majority of the businesses that I saw go south in a very short period of the time had to do with talent and talent fit in general. So I would like to see your point of view with respect to building an executive team. As what happens as principals, as seniors, as founders, as entrepreneurs, we have to grow with the business, right? And when we go with the business, we have to understand that our time is spent on other aspects better. And what I mean better is not because we're running away from the gun work. We're just trying to put our time and gray hair to where the added value is brought, so that the business can benefit the most. So let's say, tomorrow you were about to hire someone that would have to step in your shoes so that you can focus on something else. And I want us to conduct that, kind of profile scanning, persona building profile with you, and see what would you emphasize on.
Well, It's a very, very good challenge, Darius, to find a CEO. Well, first, I would like that the next CEO to be from the company. I would love to be a leader that I work with for 10 years or more.
Yeah.
And I would look at the character. I would look at the competence, of course, and the leadership level. As a CEO, I think it's very important to represent the company, to give vision, to give direction, to empower people, to lead the executive team, to help the people grow in their roles, and to lead the transformation and the development of the company. So I would look at the ability to innovate, to bring business development, to take the company to a next level of evolution and of growth.
Mm-hmm.
And very important to have the leadership skill that it's not all about you. What I see, a big challenge for the profile of the CEOs, you can become selfish, you can become pride, and it can become about you. So I would look very attentive. I would prefer a leader that thinks about the others and helps the others, and it's a team player, than one that is very, very exceptional, talented, but it's all about himself. So I would look for a team player.
Okay, Roger that. You should start looking in advance because you only have like 9 years left, and I think it's quite a thorough search. I think one of the biggest challenges when I talk with owners and entrepreneurs is that I hear them, I can't find talent. And I've actually proven this a couple of times that this is such a huge myth, regardless of, okay, I'm not talking about niche programming skills or like super brain surgeon. I'm not talking about, mid-level upper management within industries that have at least 100 years of tradition. So definitely the talent is out there, especially since it's became a shorter world, a smaller world, and it's quite connected in a very global way. But I came to realize that the number one problem they have, they don't know exactly who they want to bring. And one of the short answers and immediate, just to escape the uneasy conversation they're going to have with me on this topic. Well, and when I say uneasy, in a very fruitful way, that it helps them become aware of what's missing, is that someone like myself. And I said, well, that would not be biologically possible for now. Although I know a Korean guy, South Korean guy that, did some tricks with camels in the Arab countries. I don't think we're there yet. But even if, I don't think it would guarantee the same exact mix of creativity, character, flair. And even if you had a twin brother or sister, it would still not work. So what's your next possible best shot with respect to whom you're going to bring over here? And they start looking at me and say, my God, I think I'm going to have to spend 1 day on this. And then we start this exercise, and we go through the 1 day, and we come to the next day and said, listen, I think I might need another day. And I tell them, take the whole week. I said, it's too much. It's too much for me. 1 week. I mean, I can put it down. It's just a matter of staying focused, okay? And guess what? We are still fixing and working and adjusting the exercise even after 1 month. Because once we go granular, we come to realize that we might need some things that we don't have at the moment. We might be missing some things. And I think my advice would be, guys, if you can draw a poster with who you would like to actually bring in the company, make sure it's pretty detailed so that when your wife or husband looks at it and it doesn't confuse that person with Michael Jackson that you might need in your business. So that would be me filling in some dots based on what you said so far. Ruben, how do we fight attrition and keep the spirits high within within teams, with all these ups and downs, for entrepreneurs in general, they might find the stamina within themselves and that fountain of motivation and grit and resilience, but it doesn't work for others. So how do we cope with that?
What helped us find talent and keep a good talent in the company was creating an environment where people can grow, and to be a safe environment, to know that it's an environment where you can fail and you're not kicked out directly or shamed in front of the others. To be an environment where you know that you can try, where you're supported, where there is trust, there is collaboration, there is support. So this is what we have created, a healthy environment for growth and collaboration. And yeah, I think this is critical if we want to perform as an organization or as a team. Another thing was trying to define the vision and to help the people know what do we contribute to. Okay, we are working, we are doing hard with heavy machinery, and it's a lot of work and it's a lot of frustration, but what are we contributing to? So having meaning in our work, I think it's very, very important. And our vision in Utilben is to, for example, to bring transformation in our market, to have a different model of doing business, to show what is possible. And we want to have a big impact. We want to show that it's possible in an industry like ours to do honest business, to bring integrity, to bring added value, and yes, to contribute to the common good with our company. So this is inspiring. Many people would like to be in a company that knows that have an impact. For example, we are very generous as a company, and if our colleagues want to contribute, to be generous to one of the organizations in Romania, we double that donation, for example, as an organization. Every year we have some days that the company pays that we can be volunteer in different projects in Romania. Also, we support a lot of initiatives. 10% of our profits goes into the society, into education, into entrepreneurship, into different organizations that do good for society. So this is inspiring for many people. Many people like to be part of that, want to contribute. They know that their contribution is very relevant. Also, we are a growing company. We are
the opportunities itself for people within the company. I think this is where you're heading. And if I can make a short stop over here and go a bit back, I think the generosity path over there and opportunity. I think it's great, but I think you need a very specific profile of employees for that to work. Based on my general knowledge of talent out there, so. I think this is also something that will make scaling in terms of headcount quite challenging and maybe slow down a bit the process, because this type of cultural fit is not easy to be found, where just the main compensation or main benefits is, let's say, less important, and if not equally important, as this generosity path, as opposed to just the compensation model being the sole drive over there. And I think we both seen and had such employees, and it's nothing wrong with this model, but I think it can dilute a bit the corporate culture or business culture over there, and maybe drag us a bit further from our initial values. Have you experienced this?
Well, it's. I think there's always this challenge of diluting values. I think we need to pay attention to this always. It's not like we arrived in a position and then we are protected. I think with every new person that comes in the team, with every new year that is starting, with every new competitor that is there, with every new partner that is there, we need to reevaluate always, and pay attention to this. It's not easy. Creating a culture, it's not easy, and it's very easy. If we don't do anything, we are going to get diluted for sure. For example, I had a challenge with a senior manager that I brought in the team some years ago, and I really liked him. He was very professional, very good results, very, very much experience. But for him, it was not so a big problem to lie or to send different data or reports to partners or to the bank, you know? And it was a very hard decision for me because I loved the guy. He brought a lot of added value in the sales team. He brought a lot of added value in marketing. He was really, really good. The only thing is, well, for him, it was absolutely no problem to lie. No problem. And it was for the business. And he explained that, look, we need to do it good for the business. So it was a very difficult decision for me to fire him in that stage. And I needed to choose short-term gain or long-term culture and values. And it was difficult.
I went through a similar experience with having, working with someone that would just push results so much. But I came to realize it's not their fault. That's what executives want to hear. That's what boards want to hear. They want to hear double digits, triple digits. That's what they want to hear. And when the delta between what was promised and what's delivered is 90%, then you get lucky and a recession comes in or COVID comes in, and you dodge the bullet. And you get the courage over there that it's normal to do this. Like if you watch Japanese cartoons, and if you know 5 words, you can put in your CV that you know Japanese conversational. You can do this, and I see people, doing this. I am a master in this language or in this skill because last time it actually worked. And I just want to say that I understand what you're going through, but I just want to underline that it might not be his or her fault, because that's what worked, and what works becomes precedent for us until someone disrupts our status quo and say, this is not right on your compass. You need to learn a lesson over here. So I can understand how hard it was, because I can understand how hard it was for me to sit into presentations and say, I'm going to grow a digit, 2 or 3, and the others say, I'm going to go 30%, 40%. And I was like, Jesus, what's the secret sauce? What am I missing here? And when the results came, I wasn't missing anything. I just wasn't playing Texas Hold'em with someone else's money, and that's it. So I can understand what you're underlining over here. So in terms of motivating people, I think culture is becoming more and more important. You said, I think there's always a market median. You can pay a bit above. You can throw in some additional benefits. But I think culture, after a certain earning status, right, an annual income, will become next level on Maslow's hierarchy over there, and will start to become important. So very valuable. I think I hear quite rare this. Most of the times it's something very cool, like CSR policies. It has become more on vogue to have a CSR policy than it is to have had a tattoo in '98, right? So that's how cool it is right now to have CSR policies. But when we start digging into them, we actually come to realize that it's kind of a fake mud in the eyes of what's happening from a social and economic cost that business is generating. You recently had an experience in the US where you had to sell a business to investors, and for me, it's been mind-blowing, the difference in mentality and in business maturity and in trust and speed and pace with which we take decisions and invest in starting business. And I want to talk about some of the most valuable lessons you've had from pitching investors in the US for one of your businesses.
Well, we were very honored and fortunate to be selected to go to this pitching event in Austin, in Texas, in last year, November 2023, and the journey for preparation worth a lot. We did not get the investment that we wanted, and for me, it was very, very interesting, the journey to prepare. I have experience in this. 20 years ago, I pitched for the first time for a TV show here in Romania, like Lions Den. And
similar to Shark Tank. I just want to say
yes.
that for the folks that are not aware what Lions Den is, it's similar to Shark Tank.
Yeah, we had it in Romania at TV. So I was there with my father in 2006. Yeah. So it was a long time since then, and this time came as a challenge. And I liked the idea of going to the United States together with my sister. And we prepared very well. We had a great pitch, but investors there, the feedback was, it's amazing, but I don't have experience in this industry. So if they did not have experience in this industry, they did not want to find out more. So yes, the experience helped us a lot. We made good connections. We get a lot of good feedback. We learned. We got a lot more clarity regarding the business model, regarding the sustainability, the vision for the business, how we address the strategy, go-to-market strategy, everything. It's much more clear. And you know what happened? Even if we did not get investment, we, based on the strategy that we prepared, we are now going. We passed the break-even point, and
nice.
Yeah, we are in a good position right now. And maybe we don't need an investor for the future, even if we are open. We are still open for an investor because we would like to have an investor that can coach us, mentor us in this industry, and can help us go international. So that's why we are still open for investors, international investors with experience in this cosmetic industry. So yeah, it was very good experience. The business level, it's completely different in the United States. We need to learn a lot how to do business from them, and
how to think in a bigger picture, right? Beyond survival, even if we're in survival mode. Beyond survival, even if we're not in survival, necessarily in survival mode. Yeah.
To have courage, to dream big, to see where this can go, if everything was possible. So this helped us. We are not used to things like that. We are used to look in our pockets to see how much money we have, and then we define the vision based on the resources we have in our pockets. In the United States, it's totally different. It doesn't matter how much money you have in the pocket. It matters the opportunity, the business, what is possible to achieve, the results that you can obtain. So that was inspiring for us. Also, it was inspiring to see how the level of support from authorities. For example, we saw that there the states, the cities, they offer a lot of support for businesses to move in their city. They give a lot of support if you want to do something in the region. And this is completely missing in Eastern Europe.
And not only
we are
support
not like that. We are considered I don't know, like robbers from the state, and directly people think that, okay, we need to take money and we need to increase taxes. It's very, very different to see a world where you're very supported, where everybody wants your success because they know that if you make money with your business, then everybody has to gain. So this is missing in Eastern Europe. We don't have that. So this is what I like. What I think it's still an advantage in Europe, it's we have more balance. We know a little bit better how to make balance between different aspects of our lives, and we can have more focus on the family, on the culture, artistic part, what we do with our time.
You mean we actually have a life after work? That's what you're trying to say?
Yes. This is what I've seen a lot of opportunities, a lot of work, a lot of projects, a lot of hours invested, a lot of money. But
it's in a consumerism path used, right? So it's more, it's getting the bigger house, the bigger car, the faster car, the nicer penthouse. So everything is kind of glued towards materializing it in a way that it's tangible and especially visible. We do have to put out,
yes, but this comes with a big cost for our lives.
Yeah.
This comes with the cost. At a certain point, we will get a bill. Maybe it's going to be in our health or our family or relations or something is getting broken. So I like more the maybe slower part a little bit. When you see what is possible, I prefer a little bit slower speed, but to enjoy more the life, the family, the what we do with our time and energy, and how do we contribute? How do we invest in relations? Here in Eastern Europe, we are much more stronger in relations, in having friends, spending time, going out. Yes, so this is the difference that I've seen. So on the business side, we have to learn. On the relational side and life side, I think we are in a better position. So I really, really love that in Europe we have so many opportunities.
Yeah, and I think what it's important to actually emphasize over here that is really hurting the mentality gap that you're seeing is really hurting the business. And you talked about investors and entrepreneurs mentality gap, and I think this also has to do a bit with having predictability. So of course I can take advantage of some things if I'm certain they will stick that way. And there's a certainty from the government that those incentives will be there for me by the time I start. And not if Trump comes in and Biden, is gone, those fringe investment benefits that I have will be gone. And this predictability is missing. And I remember being shocked. I think it was about 9 years ago. I was part of a consulting cabinet in the UK, and I was responsible with helping expats build, operate, transfer business in Romania and opening offshore development centers. And I remember being called to the council to give my point of view if I would have any opinion with respect to the law of dividends changing 5 years from now. And me coming, from Eastern Europe, and here the legislation changes every day with every government, depending on if, there's a shortage of the budget, or if it's a crisis in health, or if it's a higher unemployment rate. I was completely shocked. We're talking about something that will change 5 years from now. But that's how you get businesses to commit, by providing predictability. And when it comes to incentives, I think there's also a lot of negligence that destroys or jeopardizes a country's potential, and it can be solved with an easy math. You just take a sticky note, and if the cost of unemployment rate is higher than the cost of incentives you offer with a land you don't use as government for a factory that hires 500 folks, you have to be completely stupid to not do it. And completely careless and completely without vision. So unfortunately, this is happening. But it's starting to change, and we see some positive examples, and I'm very happy and proud of them. Of course, location matters a lot, but with time, I hope this change will come. So thank you for sharing these insights. I just want to mention there's nothing wrong from a cultural point of view, or from our point of view, if people want to materialize and show off what they worked for, or want to reinvest that money in something bigger, better, and nicer. That's not wrong. We just emphasize that we might feel that's odd and it's not for us, but that doesn't mean it's not right or it's wrong or anything. I want us to stay impartial on this. If West is the engine for know-how, I think East is where the real fuel is, the real potential is. The easter we go, from an infrastructure point of view, is starting to look like Mecca. What do you think?
Well, I think we are experiencing a change here, Darius. I think it used to be like this, but I think in the world that we are living now, we can see a change. If everything good came from the West, now I see more and more leaders and people that have the courage to create something new, to have a different perspective, to innovate, to create something new in the East. So what happened before, with the resources came vision, direction, culture, everything came with the money, the money flow. What I see a little bit changing now, it's we see amazing things also, and things with great potential coming from the East. So maybe we can experience a change there, a paradigm shift, where we see that not only money are important. Money are important, and it used to be very important, but now I believe that innovation and change could come, from the margin of the empires. So I think we are in that point. That's why a little bit I'm encouraged and optimistic regarding, for example, Eastern Europe and Romania, and yes, our region. I believe we can experience a good paradigm shift in the next 10 years. And yeah, we can experience, for example, a change in our economy, in our region, in our nation, and Romania, for example, could become a good example of transformation from a nation that used to be a communist nation where there were not so many opportunities, there were lack of resources, like a victim mentality, zero-sum game, scarcity mentality, inferiority. We can experience a transformation because now we are at a certain point where economy grew already. Who remain in the country, they really have a dedication to remain and to work to something higher and to make this country a better place to live. Maybe some of the friends from diaspora could return home, and this could be a good example of transformation, bringing hope to other nations in the East, that it's possible to have a very difficult background with a lot of pain and suffering and still bring some transformation and hope. Of course, it took us like 35 years, maybe it will take us 50 years to see this change happening, but it is possible, and this brings hope. That means we are not inferior as people, as value, compared to Western countries. It's just that we did not have the same resources in the last 100 years. But I believe we can see a good example of transformation, and Romania could become a great country to live in, secure, with good people, a very welcoming country, a good country to visit, a country that brings innovation, a country that helps entrepreneurs grow, and to have an entrepreneurial ecosystem that is really growing and bringing innovation. And it could be a great place to live in the next 10, 20 years.
I think I haven't spoke with an investor looking at an opportunity or working for a market feasibility study in Romania that haven't has not reached the conclusion that they now understand why they need to pay the premium for our talent and the ability of jack of multiple trades, and how people are trying to compensate for some of the wounds that can come from communism with the opportunity, having the opportunity to shine, and they've been utterly impressed by the potential of our talent. So I see things the way you see them also. Now we're getting towards the end of this episode. Time flew by, and I'm looking at your evolution, and I'm wondering if a board of advisors kind of next step and getting the company listed isn't on your agenda over there secretly, or at least secretly until this question, which is public right now.
Yeah, we dream about getting listed. This is a part of our objectives in the next 5 years. Until now, we managed to grow as a company being financed by local banks here in Romania. In the last 2 years, we felt a little bit the pain of growth, and we felt the limitation of financing, especially, for example, in the rental businesses, where we could rent a lot more if we could have more resources and more finance. But it was a good break that we can make the system stronger and healthier and have clarity regarding the rules of the game. And now we are prepared to scale. So when I think that will be very valuable is when, for example, we want to go international. We think about Ukraine for reconstruction. They will need a lot of heavy machinery to rebuild the country, and we really want to go and help there. And for sure, we will need investments there. So when we will have stakeholders, then for sure we need a board of advisors, and we will need governance, and we need a plan to go and to get listed. Until now, we don't have a proper board of advisor or official board. We have a board inside our company with our managers. We meet monthly, and we discuss very openly there all the challenges and take decisions together. We have a very collaborative management style in our organization. And also, I have mentors that I discuss with, and I present them the situation in the businesses. And I'm very fortunate. If at the beginning of the business I had no mentors, now I'm very fortunate to have mentors in Romania and outside, and good friends that really are experienced and can help me with advice and with their wisdom that they have over the years in business. So this is the situation right now. We will go there when we will scale internationally. And of course, it's also part of creating a sustainable company. Governance is very important because I don't want to depend completely on me and Wana. Our plan with this company is to make it governed and sustainable, and to have business continuity, because this is the legacy that we want to leave behind. We would like to see a company that will continue to invest in the new generation of entrepreneurs, in education, in leadership. And this is the dream, to create a foundation that will be governing the company, and that we can create a model of sustainability for years to come.
Thank you for being so transparent, Ruben, and sharing some of the future plans that you have over here. Thank you for today, your time, your insights, your wisdom, for cascading, and it's been a pure pleasure.
Thank you so much, Darius. It was a pleasure to talk with you. Thank you so much for all the nice discussions, and yes, for your very good questions and for your very good insights.
Appreciate it.